For example, if you're waiting for a movie instead of asking time, you can say, "Do you know what time it starts?"
Do you
That
know?
sounds more polite and conversational. Let's now add some phrases for expressing possibilities. Instead of always saying, maybe, try these alternatives. There's a chance that it might be possible. Who knows, maybe. These are more colorful and natural in conversation. Practice aloud. There's a chance that it might be possible.
Be
Who
possible.
knows, maybe. Great. Imagine your friend
It
asks if
might
you'll
be
join the trip
possible.
next month. Instead of just saying, maybe, you can say, there's a chance that I
Might
can
be
join. I'll
possible.
let you know soon. That feels smoother. Now, let's practice phrases for expressing preferences in daily choices. Instead of only saying, I like, try, I'm a big fan of,
I'm a
I
bit.
really enjoy. I'd rather go with.
I'd rather go.
These give your English more variety and fluency. Say them with me. I'm a big fan of. I really enjoy. I'd
I,
rather go with. Excellent. For example, if someone asks tea or coffee, instead of just saying, I like tea,
I
you
like.
can say, I'm a big fan of tea. I really enjoy it in the morning. That feels more complete and fluent. Now let's add some phrases for ending phone calls politely. Instead of just saying bye, you can say, it was nice talking to you.
It was
I'll
nice
talk to you
talking to you.
soon.
I talked to
Thanks
you.
for calling. These are polite and natural. Repeat after me. It was nice talking to you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for calling. Great. For example, if a friend calls to check in, instead of ending with just bye, you can say, it was nice talking to you. I'll talk to you soon. That's warm and fluent. Finally, let's practice some phrases for showing excitement and enthusiasm in everyday life. Instead of just saying, great, you can use these. That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. This is going to be fun. These keep your English lively and full of energy. Say them aloud. That's awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. This is going to be fun. Excellent. For example, if someone invites you to a weekend trip, you can say, that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. That makes your English sound full of life. Now, let's move into phrases you can use when traveling. Travel English is very practical because it helps you in airports, hotels, and new places. Instead of only saying, where is, you can use, could you tell me how to get to? Is this the right way to? How far is it from here? These sound polite and natural when asking for directions. Practice with me. Could you tell me how to get to? Is this the right way to? How far is it from here? Excellent. For example, if you are in a new city and want to find the train station, instead of saying, where is train station? You can say, could you tell me how to get to the train station? That's smoother and more polite. Now let's add phrases for checking into hotels. Instead of just saying room, you can say, I have a reservation under the name. Could I check in, please? What time is checkout? These are common and important when traveling. Say them aloud. I have a reservation under the name. Could I check in, please? What time is checkout? Great. For example, when you arrive at a hotel, instead of only saying reservation, you can politely say, I have a reservation under the name Natasha. That feels professional and fluent. Let's also practice phrases for airports. Instead of only saying ticket, you can say, where is the check-in counter? Could you tell me the boarding gate? What time do we start boarding? These help you travel smoothly. Repeat after me. Where is the check-in counter? Could you tell me the boarding gate? What time do we start boarding? Excellent. Imagine you are at an airport and do want to confirm the gate. Instead of saying, where gate, you can say, could you tell me the boarding gate for this flight? That sounds natural and polite. Now, let's add some phrases for making conversations with strangers. Small talk is important when you meet new people while traveling or at events. Instead of just saying, hello, you can try, where are you from? Is this your first time here? What brings you here today? These are natural ways to start conversations. Say them aloud with me. Where are you from? Is this your first time here? What brings you here today? Wonderful. For example, if you are at a language event, you can ask, is this your first time here? That's a friendly and natural way to start talking. Now, let's practice phrases for buying tickets or services. Instead of saying one ticket, you can say, I'd like to buy one ticket, please, or could I get 2 tickets for tonight's show, or how much is a ticket for one adult? These are polite and commonly used. Repeat after me. I'd like to buy 1 ticket, please.
I
Could I
like
get 2 tickets for tonight's show? How much is a ticket for one adult? Excellent. For example, at a train station, instead of saying 1 ticket, you can say, I'd like to buy 1 ticket to London, please.
I like
That sounds much better.
on
Now
the
let's learn phrases for emergencies. It's always good to know what to say in difficult situations. Instead of just saying help, you can use I need help, please.
need help,
Can you
please.
call the police? I need a doctor right away.
I
These
need
phrases are important and clear. Say them aloud with me. I need help, please.
help, please.
Can you call the police? I
Can
need a doctor right away.
you need a doctor, right?
Excellent. For example, if someone feels sick suddenly, you can say, I need a doctor right away. This
I
is direct and useful in emergencies. Let's also practice phrases for shopping in markets. Instead of just saying price, you can use how much is this? Can you give me a discount? Do you accept credit cards?
yeah,
These are very practical in everyday shopping situations. Practice with me. How much is this?
how
Can you
much
give me a discount? Do
do
you
you
accept credit cards?
accept?
Wonderful. For example, at a street market, instead of pointing and saying price, you can ask how much is this? That
How
makes you sound more fluent and polite. Now let's add some phrases for making polite suggestions in groups. Instead of just saying, let's go, you can say, shall we go now? Why
shall
don't we try this place? What if we do it another way? These are softer and sound cooperative. Say them with me. Shall we go now?
shall
Why
we
don't we try this place? What if we do it another way? Great. For example, if you're with friends deciding where to eat, you can say, why don't we try that new restaurant? That's natural and sounds friendly. Now let's practice phrases for expressing agreement politely in formal situations. Instead of only saying yes, you can say, I completely agree with you.
I
That's
completely
exactly how I feel. You make a valid point. These are professional and useful in meetings. Repeat after me. I completely agree with you. That's exactly how I feel. You make a valid point. Wonderful.
agree.
Imagine you're in a meeting and your colleague suggests a new idea. Instead of just saying yes, you can say, that's exactly how I feel. You make a valid point. That leaves a strong impression. Now let's add some phrases for politely interrupting. Sometimes in conversations or meetings, you need to speak, but you don't want to be rude. Instead of just talking over someone, you can say, sorry to interrupt, but can I add something here? If I may just say one thing. These are polite ways to interrupt. Say them aloud with me. Sorry to interrupt, but can I add something here? If I may just say one thing. Excellent. For example, during a meeting, instead of cutting someone off, you can say, sorry to interrupt, but can I add something That makes you sound polite and professional. Finally, let's practice phrases for checking understanding in a group. Instead of saying, understand, you can use, does that make sense? Are you with me so far? Do you follow what I mean? These are very natural and friendly ways to check understanding. Repeat after me. Does that make sense? Are you with me so far?
Are
Do you
you
follow what I mean? Great. For example, if you're explaining something to a classmate, instead of saying understand, you can ask, does that make sense? That feels natural and polite. Now let's practice phrases for handling invitations. When someone invites you, it's important to respond politely, whether you accept or decline. Instead of just saying yes or no, you can use, I'd love to, thanks for inviting me. That sounds great, I'll be there. Or, if you can't go, you can say, I really appreciate the invitation, but I won't be able to make it. These are very polite and natural. Practice with me. I'd love to, thanks for inviting me. That sounds great, I'll be there. I really appreciate the invitation, but I won't be able to make it. Excellent. For example, if your friend invites you to a dinner party, instead of only saying no, you can say, I really appreciate the invitation, but I won't be able to make it this time. That keeps the conversation polite and warm. Now let's look at phrases for expressing preferences when making choices with others. Instead of just saying, I like this, you can use, I'd rather go with this option. This works better for me. I think I'd prefer this one. These help you sound clear but still polite. Say them aloud with me. I'd rather go with this option. This works better for me. I think I'd prefer this one. Wonderful. For example, if your friends are choosing a movie, instead of only saying, I like action, you can say, I think I'd prefer an action movie. This works better for me tonight. That sounds smoother and more natural. Now let's practice phrases for showing surprise in polite conversations. Instead of just saying really every time, you can use that's incredible. You don't say, is that so? These are great for reacting to unexpected news. Repeat after me. That's incredible. You don't
That's
say,
you
is
don't
that so?
is that so?
Excellent. For example, if a colleague tells you they can speak 5 languages, instead of just saying, really, you can say, that's incredible. You don't say. That sounds enthusiastic and engaged. Let's now explore phrases for expressing frustration politely. Sometimes you feel annoyed, but you don't want to sound rude. Instead of just saying, this is bad, you can say, this is a bit frustrating. I'm not too happy with this. I wish this was easier. These soften your frustration but still express your feelings. Say them with me. This is a bit frustrating. I'm not too happy with this. I wish this was easier. Great. Imagine you're using a new app and it keeps crashing. Instead of saying, this is bad, you can say, this is a bit frustrating. I wish this was easier to use. That sounds natural and polite. Now let's add some phrases for asking for opinions. Instead of always saying, what do you think? You can vary with, how do you feel about this?
How do
What's
you
your take on this? Do you agree with that? These make your English more colorful and engaging. Practice aloud with me. How do you feel about this? What's your take on this? Do you agree with that? Excellent. For example, if you and your classmates are discussing a project, instead of only saying, what do you think? You can ask, what's your take on this? That feels very natural. Now let's practice phrases for agreeing politely but gently. Instead of just saying, yes, you can say, I think you're right about that. I agree to some extent. That's a fair point. These are siyas, often used in discussions. Say them aloud. I think you're right about that. I agree to some extent. That's a fair point.
I agree.
Wonderful. For example, in a discussion about studying methods, if someone says listening practice is very important, you can reply, that's a fair point. I think you're right about that. This makes your English sound very smooth. Now let's look at phrases for changing the subject. Sometimes in conversations you want to move to a new topic politely. Instead of just saying something random, you can use, by the way, speaking of that, before I forget. These make transitions smooth. Practice with me. By the way, speaking of that, before I forget.
Speaking of that,
Excellent. For example, if you're talking about work and you suddenly remember a movie, you can say, by the way, have you seen that new movie? This makes the change of subject sound natural. Now, let's add phrases for confirming details. Instead of only saying, okay, you can say, so, just to confirm, let me make sure I've got this right. We're meeting at 5, correct? These help you clarify and avoid misunderstandings. Say them aloud with me. So, just to confirm, let me make sure I've got this right. We're meeting at 5, correct? Great. For example, if a teacher tells you about an assignment, you can reply, so, just to confirm, we need to submit this by Friday, right? That's polite and professional. Now let's practice phrases for showing appreciation in daily conversations. Instead of only saying, thanks, you can expand with, that was very kind of you. I really appreciate your help. Thanks a lot. I owe you one. These sound warmer and more expressive. Repeat after me. That was very kind of you. I really appreciate your help. Thanks a lot. I owe you one. Wonderful. For example, if a friend helps you carry your bags, you can say, that, thanks a lot. I owe you one. That sounds friendly and natural. Finally, let's learn phrases for politely ending conversations with acquaintances. Instead of just saying goodbye, you can say, "It was great running into you. I'll let you get going. Take care, see you around." These leave a nice impression. Say them aloud. "It was great running into you.
Great.
I'll let you get going.
I like
Take
it.
care, see you around." Excellent. For example, if you meet someone at the supermarket and finish talking, you can say, "It was great running into you. Take care, see you around."
Thank
That
you.
feels friendly and natural. Now let's move into phrases you can use in professional settings. Workplace English often requires polite, clear communication. Using the right phrases can make you sound confident and fluent. Instead of just saying, "I don't know," you can use, "I'll find out and get back to you." "I'll
I'll
need to double check that."
say,
"Let me confirm and I'll let you know."
let me
These
confirm
phrases show responsibility and professionalism. Practice with me. "I'll find out and get back to you."
out and
"I'll
I
need
get
to double check that."
I
"Let
will
me confirm and I'll let you know."
confirm and
Excellent. Imagine your manager asks a question you can't answer immediately. Instead of saying, "I don't know," you can say, "I'll need to double check that and get back to you."
I'll need
That
to
makes you sound reliable and fluent. Now let's practice phrases for making polite requests at work. Instead of just saying, "Send me this," you can say, "Could you please send me this by tomorrow?
could you
I'd appreciate it if you could share the details. Would you be able to send that over?"
would
These are more professional and friendly. Say them aloud with me. "Could you please send me this by tomorrow? I'd appreciate it if you could share the details. Would you be able to send that over?" Great. For example, if you need a report from a colleague, instead of saying, "Send me the report," you can say, "I'd appreciate it if you could share the report with me by the end of the day." That sounds polite and clear. Now let's add some phrases for giving updates. Instead of only saying "done," you can say, "I've completed the task you asked for. Here's the update on the project so far. Everything is on track." These
everything
help you sound professional and fluent when sharing progress. Repeat after me. "I've completed the task you asked for. Here's the update on the project so far. Everything is on track." Excellent. Imagine you finish a school assignment and want to tell your teacher. Instead of just saying "done," you can say, "I've completed the task you asked for." That feels professional and respectful.
completed
Now, let's practice phrases for offering opinions in meetings. Instead of just saying, "I think," you can use, "In my experience," "From
in
my perspective."
America
"What I've noticed is." These make your contributions sound stronger and more professional. Say them with me. "In my experience,"
and my
"From
experience
my perspective."
from my
"What
perspective.
I've noticed is."
What I've noticed is
Wonderful. For
wonderful.
example, in a meeting about improving study habits, instead of just saying, "I think practice is important," you can say, "From my perspective, regular practice makes the biggest difference." That sounds more fluent. Let's now practice phrases for handling disagreements politely in professional settings. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," you can use, "I see it a little differently." That's an interesting point, but "I respect your opinion, however." These show respect while still giving your own view. Practice aloud. "I see it a little differently." That's an interesting point, but "I respect your opinion, however." Great. For example, if a colleague suggests a plan you don't agree with, instead of saying "no," you can say, "I respect your opinion, however I see it a little differently." That makes your English more professional. Now let's move into phrases for social conversations with colleagues. Instead of just saying, "How are you?" every time, you can ask, "How's your day going so far?
How's your day
Did you
going?
do anything fun over the weekend? How are things at your end?" Excellent. For example, if you see a colleague in the morning, instead of saying only, "How are you?" you can ask, "How's your day going so far?" That shows interest and sounds natural. Now let's practice phrases for handling delays politely. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Instead of only saying late, you can say, "I'm running a little behind schedule. Sorry for the delay. I appreciate your patience. There's been a slight change of plans." These are very useful in daily professional life. Repeat after me. "I'm running a little behind schedule. Sorry for the delay. I appreciate your patience. There's been a slight change of plans. Great. Imagine you are late to a meeting. Instead of saying, sorry late, you can say, I'm running a little behind schedule, thank you for waiting. That sounds polite and fluent. Now, let's add phrases for showing enthusiasm at work or school. Instead of just saying, okay, you can use, I'd be happy to help with that. That
I
sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to working on this. These add energy to your communication. Say them aloud. I'd be happy to help with that. That sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to working on this. Excellent. For example, if your teacher gives you a new project, instead of just saying, okay, you can say, that sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to working on this.
looking forward to
That
work.
makes your English sound more positive. Now let's practice phrases for showing gratitude in formal settings. Instead of only saying thank you can expand with thank you for your support. I really appreciate your guidance. I'm grateful for your help on this. These make your gratitude more professional and respectful. Repeat after me. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your
I
support.
really appreciate your guidance.
Your
I'm
guidance.
grateful for your help on this. Wonderful. For example, after a teacher helps Ow understand something, instead of saying just thanks, you can say, I really appreciate your guidance on this.
I
That
really
sounds respectful and fluent. Finally, let's practice phrases for closing professional conversations. Instead of only saying goodbye, you can use thank you for your time today. I
thank
look
you.
forward to speaking with you again. Let's stay in touch. These are polite closings that leave a good impression. Say them with me. Thank you for your time today. I look forward to speaking with you again. Let's stay in touch. Excellent. For example, after a business call, instead of only saying bye, you can say, thank you for your time today. I look forward to speaking with you again. That feels smooth and professional. Now let's practice phrases you can use in friendly conversations with neighbors or acquaintances. These are simple but very useful for daily life. Instead of just saying hi, you can say, good to see you again. How's everything with you? It's been a while, hasn't it? These sound warm and conversational. Practice with me. Good to see you again. How's everything with you? It's been a while, hasn't it? Excellent.
Been a
For
while.
example, if you meet a neighbor in the street, instead of just saying hi, you can say, good to see you again. How's everything with you? That feels natural and friendly. Now, let's add some phrases for expressing opinions politely in casual situations. Instead of only saying, I think, you can try, personally, I feel. As far as I'm concerned, what I believe is, these give your speech variety and smoothness. Say them aloud. Personally, I feel. As far as I'm concerned, what I believe is wonderful. For example, if you're talking about food with a friend, instead of only saying, I think pizza is good, you can say, personally, I feel pizza is the best comfort food. That makes you sound more fluent. Now let's look at phrases for showing agreement casually. Instead of only saying yes, you can use totally, for sure, absolutely. These are short but very natural. Repeat after me. Totally. For sure. Absolutely. Excellent. For example, if your friend says, this weather is amazing, instead of just saying yes, you can say, absolutely, it's perfect today. That's more natural. Now let's practice phrases for expressing doubt. Instead of just saying, maybe not, you can use, I'm not convinced. I have my doubts about that. I'm not really sure about this. These are useful when you're not completely agreeing. Say them aloud. I'm not convinced. I have my doubts about that. I'm not really sure about this. Great. For example, if someone says learning English is easy, you might reply, I'm not convinced. I think it takes a lot of practice. That sounds natural and polite. Now, let's explore phrases for showing curiosity when meeting someone new. Instead of only saying, tell me more, you can ask, how did you get into that? What got you interested in this? That sounds interesting. Can you share more? These keep conversations engaging. Practice with me. How did you get into that? What got you interested in this? That sounds interesting. Can you share more? Excellent. For example, if someone says, I'm learning Spanish, instead of only saying why, you can ask, that sounds interesting. What got you interested in this? That shows real curiosity. Now let's practice phrases for calming tense conversations. Instead of saying calm down, which can sound rude, you can say, let's take a step back. I
Let's
understand your feelings.
let's
Let's
start.
try to find a solution together. These make you sound respectful. Say them aloud with me. Let's take a step back. I understand your feelings. Let's try to find a solution together. Wonderful. For example, if a colleague feels upset about a project, instead of saying calm down, you can say, I understand your feelings. Let's try to find a solution together. That feels supportive and professional. Now let's add some phrases for giving encouragement in daily life. Instead of only saying good job, you can use keep it up. You're doing amazing. Don't give up. You're almost there. These are great for motivating others. Practice aloud. Keep it up. You're doing amazing. Don't give up. You're almost there.
You're all
Excellent. For example, if a friend is practicing English speaking, you can say, You're doing amazing. Keep it up. Don't give up. That sounds motivating. Now let's practice phrases for showing politeness when interrupting casually. Instead of just speaking suddenly, you can say, Sorry, can I just say something? If I could add one thing, can I jump in for a second? These are useful in friendly group conversations. Say them with me. Sorry, can I just say something? If
sorry.
I could add one thing, can I jump in for a second?
Can I
Excellent.
for a
For
second?
example, if your friends are discussing a topic and you want to share your opinion, instead of just interrupting, you can say, Sorry, can I just say something? That's polite and natural. Now let's add some phrases for expressing excitement casually. Instead of only saying, I'm happy, you can say, I'm so pumped about this.
I'm so
This is awesome. I can't wait to do this. These make your English lively. Repeat after me. I'm so pumped about this. This is awesome. I can't wait to do this. Wonderful. For example, if your friend invites you to a concert, instead of saying, I'm happy, you can say, I'm so pumped about this, I can't wait.
about this.
That feels more expressive and natural. Finally, let's learn phrases for politely ending casual chats. Instead of just saying bye, you can say, I'd better get going. It was nice catching up.
Get
Talk to you
going.
later. These are short but very natural closings. Say them with me. I'd better get going.
I
It was
bet
nice catching up. Talk to you later. Excellent. For example, if you're finishing a chat with a classmate after school, instead of only saying bye, you can say, It was nice catching up. Talk to you later.
catching
That
up
feels warm and fluent.
later.
Now let's practice phrases you can use when meeting someone for the first time. Introductions are very important, and using natural phrases helps you make a good impression. Instead of just saying, My name is, you can say, Hi, I'm Natasha. Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you. These sound polite and friendly. Practice with me. Hi, I'm Natasha. Nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. I've heard so much about you.
I heard
Excellent.
so much
For
about
example, if you meet a new classmate, instead of only saying, I'm Natasha, you can say, Hi, I'm Natasha. Nice to meet you. That sounds more natural. Now, let's add phrases for keeping a conversation going with new people. Instead of just asking, How are you? You can ask, So, what do you do for work or study? How do
what
you usually spend your weekends? Have you
are
been living here long? These show interest and keep the conversation alive. Say them aloud with me. So, what do you do for work or study? How do
study
you usually spend your weekends? Have
your,
you been living here long?
your weekend?
Great. For example, if you meet someone at a party, instead of staying quiet, you can ask, How do you usually spend your weekends?
Your
That
weekend.
feels engaging and friendly. Now let's practice phrases for politely refusing offers. Sometimes you want to say no, but you don't want to sound rude. Instead of just saying no, you can use, Thanks, but I'm good for now. I really appreciate it, but
Uh,
maybe another time. That's kind of you, but I'll pass. These are polite and respectful ways to refuse. Practice with me. Thank us, but I'm good for now. I really appreciate it, but maybe another time. That's kind of you, but I'll pass. Excellent. For example, if someone offers you food you don't want, instead of saying no, you can say, "That's kind of you, but I'll pass." That sounds much better. Now let's add some phrases for giving compliments in social situations. Compliments make conversations warmer and friendlier. Instead of just saying, "Good," you can say, "You look great today." That's a wonderful idea. "You did amazing work on this." These phrases make your English sound positive and supportive. Say them aloud with me. "You look great today." That's a wonderful idea.
That's
"You did
wonderful.
amazing work on this." Wonderful. For
One.
example, if a friend shows you their project, instead of just saying, "Good," you can say, "You did amazing work on this. That's a wonderful idea." That makes your compliment stronger. Now let's practice phrases for showing agreement in casual discussions. Instead of only saying, "Yes," you can use, "That makes sense." "I totally get
That
what you
makes
mean."
sense.
"I see where you're coming from." These sound natural and conversational. Practice with me. "That makes sense?" "I totally get what you mean." "I see where you're coming from." Great. For example, if a friend says, "It's hard to learn English without practice," you can reply, "That makes sense. I see where you're coming from." That feels fluent and friendly. Now let's add phrases for disagreeing politely in everyday conversations. Instead of bluntly saying, "No, you're wrong," you can say, "I'm not sure I agree with that. I see it differently."
I agree with
That's
that.
an interesting point, but I think. These help you disagree politely. Say them aloud with me. "I'm not sure I agree with that. I see it differently." That's an interesting point, but I think. Excellent. For example, if a friend says watching movies isn't useful for learning English, you can reply, "That's an interesting point, but I think movies can be very helpful for listening practice." That sounds polite and fluent. Now let's practice phrases for asking for repetition. Instead of just saying "what," you can use, "Could you say that again, please?" "Sorry, I didn't catch that." "Would you mind repeating that?" These are polite and commonly used. Repeat after me. "Could you say that again, please?" "Sorry, I didn't catch that."
Sorry,
"Would you mind repeating that?"
would you mind?
Wonderful. For example, if you're in a noisy cafe and don't hear clearly, instead of saying "what," you can say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you say it again, please?"
That,
That's smoother and polite.
that
Now
again.
let's add phrases for showing interest in stories. Instead of only saying "really," you can vary with "That's fascinating." "Tell me more about it." "Wow, how did that happen?" These make your English more engaging. Say them with me. "That's fascinating." "Tell me more about it." "Wow, how did that happen?" Excellent. For example, if a friend tells you about their trip to another country, instead of just saying "really," you can say, "That's fascinating. Tell me more about it."
Nothing.
That keeps the conversation alive. Now let's practice phrases for making promises. Instead of only saying "I promise," you can say, "You can count on me."
You can
"I'll
come.
make sure it gets done."
I
"I
mean,
won't let you down."
I want it.
These are very natural in English. Repeat after me. "You can count on me." "I'll make sure it gets done." "I won't let you down."
I want it.
Wonderful. For
What?
example, if
What?
your friend asks you to help them move, instead of only saying "I promise," you can say, "Don't worry, you can count on me. I won't let you down." That's strong and supportive. Finally, let's practice phrases for apologizing in everyday situations. Instead of only saying "sorry," you can use, "I'm really sorry about that."
I'm not a
"Please forgive me. I didn't mean to cause trouble." These sound sincere and natural. Say them with me. "I'm really sorry about that." "Please forgive me.
I'm
I
really
didn't
sorry.
mean to cause trouble." Excellent. For example, if you accidentally step on someone's foot, instead of just saying "sorry," you can say, "I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean to cause trouble." That shows sincerity and politeness. Now let's practice phrases you can use when asking for help in everyday situations. Instead of only saying "help me," you can use, "Could you give me a hand with this?" "Would you mind helping me for a moment?" "Can you show me how to do this?" These are polite and natural ways to ask for help. Practice with me. "Could you give me a hand with this?" "Would you mind helping me for a moment?" "Can you show me how to do this?" Excellent. For example, if you're trying to carry a heavy box, instead of only saying "help me," you can say, "Would you mind helping me for a moment?" That
Would you
sounds
mind
polite
helping
and
me?
fluent. Now let's add phrases for expressing gratitude in daily life. Instead of just saying, thanks, you can say, that means a lot to me. I really appreciate your help. Thanks a million. These show deeper emotion. Say them aloud with me. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate your help. Thanks a million. Wonderful. For example, if a classmate helps you study, instead of saying only, thanks, you can say, that means a lot to me. I really appreciate your help. That sounds warmer. Now let's practice phrases for checking understanding. Instead of saying, do you understand, which can sound direct, you can use, does that make sense? Are
Does
you following me?
are you
Do you
follow?
see what I mean? These are more natural and friendly. Practice with me. Does that make sense? Are you following me? Do you see what I mean? Excellent. For example, if you explain a grammar rule, instead of saying, do you understand? You can say, does that make sense? That's smoother and polite. Now let's add some fra, says for showing relief. Instead of only saying good, you can say, that's a relief. I'm so glad to hear that. What a weight off my mind. These are very natural in daily life. Say them aloud. That's a relief. I'm so glad to hear that. What a weight off my mind. Wonderful. For example, if you were worried about a test and your teacher says you passed, you can say, that's a relief. I'm so glad to hear that. That feels fluent and expressive. Now let's practice phrases for making arrangements. Instead of only saying meet tomorrow, you can use, shall we meet tomorrow at 5? Let's
So,
plan for next week. Does Friday work for you? These are natural ways to organize plans. Say them aloud with me. Shall we meet tomorrow at 5? Let's plan for next week. Does Friday work for you? Excellent. For example, if you're arranging to see a friend, instead of saying meet tomorrow, you can say, does Friday work for you? That sounds polite and fluent. Now let's add some phrases for giving compliments on achievements. Instead of just saying, good job, you can use, that's impressive. You should be proud of yourself. You nailed it. These give your compliments more strength. Practice with me. That's impressive.
that's
You should
simple.
be proud of yourself.
You should
You
be
nailed it.
proud.
Wonderful.
It's
For
wonderful.
example, if a friend wins a competition, instead of only saying good job, you can say, that's impressive. You nailed it. You should be proud of yourself. That feels motivating. Now let's practice phrases for politely ending phone conversations. Instead of just saying bye, you can say, it was nice talking to you.
It was
Thanks for your
talking
time.
to you.
Talk to you soon. These are very natural closings. Say them aloud with me. It was nice talking to you. Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon. Excellent. For example, if you finish a call with a friend, instead of saying only bye, you can say, it was nice talking to you. Talk to you soon. That feels warm and fluent. Now let's add some phrases for expressing opinions strongly. Instead of just saying I think, you can use I'm absolutely certain, without a doubt, I firmly believe. These are powerful and natural. Practice with me. I'm absolutely certain, without a doubt. I firmly believe. Excellent. For example, if someone asks if practice improves fluency, instead of just saying I think yes, you can say, without a doubt, I firmly believe practice improves fluency. That sounds confident. Now let's practice phrases for politely asking for information. Instead of saying tell me, you can use, could you tell me more about that? Would you mind explaining that to me? Can you give me some details, please? These are more polite and conversational. Say them aloud. Could you tell me more about that? Would you mind explaining that to me? Can you give me some details, please? Wonderful. For example, if someone says they got a new job, instead of only asking where, you can say, that's great. Could you tell me more about it? That keeps the conversation alive. Now let's add some phrases for showing encouragement when someone feels nervous. Instead of just saying, don't worry, you can use, you'll do great. I'm sure of it. Just be yourself. That's enough. You've prepared well. Trust yourself. These sound supportive and natural. Practice with me. You'll do great. I'm sure of it. Just be yourself. That's enough. You've prepared well. Trust yourself. Excellent. For example, if a friend is about to give a speech, instead of only saying, don't worry, you can say, you've prepared well. Trust yourself. You'll do great. That sounds very supportive. Finally, let's practice phrases for finishing conversations in friendly ways. Instead of only saying, bye, you can use, let's catch up again soon. Take care of yourself. See you next time. These are warm and natural ways to close conversations. Say them aloud with me. Let's catch up again soon. Take care of yourself. See you next time. Excellent. For example, if you finish talking with a classmate after school, instead of just saying bye, you can say, let's catch up again soon. Take care of yourself. That leaves a positive impression. So, we've now practiced 125 powerful English phrases that every intermediate learner should know to become fluent. Each phrase is a tool you can use in your daily conversations to sound more natural, more confident, and more fluent in English. Remember, fluency comes step by step, and every time you practice these phrases, you're training your brain.
Grow your English. This is Clear English Podcast.
Do you feel nervous with new people? Do you want to talk, but you don't know what to say?
Today, we will help you feel good about talking to people.
Yes, we will help you feel confident.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Clear English Podcast. My name is Emma.
And I'm John. Hello. It's great to be here with you.
It is great to be here. Today, we have a very useful topic. We are talking about small talk.
Small talk. That sounds interesting, Emma. What is our goal for today?
Our goal is to help you understand small talk. We want you to feel happy and confident when you have small conversations.
That is a great goal. Small talk is very important for everyday life in English.
Yes, it is. So let's start. Let's learn about small talk together.
Okay, Emma, let's begin with a big question. What is small talk?
That is a very good question, John. Small talk is a short, friendly conversation.
Short and friendly. Okay. So it is not a long conversation?
No, it is not long. It is usually just a few minutes. And it is about simple topics.
Simple topics. Can you give an example of a simple topic?
Of course. A very common topic for small talk is the weather.
The weather. Yes. Like saying, it is a beautiful day today.
Exactly. That is perfect small talk. You say something simple and friendly.
So small talk is not about big, serious topics like politics or money?
That's right. Small talk is light and easy. It is not for serious subjects. We call it small talk because the topics are small and simple.
I see. So small talk is a short, friendly conversation about simple things.
Yes, you said it perfectly. It's a way to be friendly with people.
Okay, that makes sense. But why is it important? Why do we need to do small talk?
That is the next big question. Small talk is very important for many reasons. First, it is polite.
Polite? What do you mean?
When you meet someone, it is nice to say something. It is more friendly than just being quiet.
Ah, yes. If I am in a room with a person and we are both quiet, it can feel a little strange.
Yes, exactly. A little small talk makes the situation more comfortable. For example, at a shop, you can say to the cashier, "Hello, how are you today?"
And that is polite. It shows you are a friendly person.
Yes, it makes the other person feel good. And it makes you feel good too.
So one reason is to be polite and friendly. What is another reason?
Another important reason is to connect with people.
Connect with people, like making friends.
Yes, it can be the start of a friendship, or just a nice moment with someone. Small talk helps us build small connections.
I like that. Small talk for small connections.
Think about waiting for a bus. You are standing with another person. You can say, "The bus is late today."
And maybe the other person says, yes, it is. And now you are talking.
Exactly. You have a small connection. The waiting time is now a little better. It feels less lonely.
That is a great point. It helps people feel comfortable together.
Yes, it helps us feel like we are part of a community, even with people we don't know.
So it's for people we don't know or people we know a little?
Both. You can use small talk with a person you see for the first time, or with someone at your work.
Someone at work? Like a colleague?
Yes. For example, in the kitchen at work, you can say, "Are you having a busy day?"
That's a good example. It's friendly and simple. It's not a big, deep conversation.
Exactly. It shows you are interested in your colleague, but it is not too personal.
So we use small talk in many different places.
We do. We use it everywhere. At a party, in a store, at the doctor's office while you wait.
At a party, it is very useful. It helps you talk to new people.
Yes, you can ask someone, how do you know the host of the party? That is a great way to start small talk.
I see. So small talk is a skill for daily life. It is something we use all the time.
That is a perfect way to describe it, John. It is a very important skill for communication.
Many English learners feel nervous about small talk. They worry about making mistakes.
Yes, and that feeling is normal. It is okay to feel nervous. Learning a new language is a big challenge.
It is. And talking to new people can be scary.
But we want to tell our listeners, do not worry. Small talk is a skill you can learn.
Like learning to ride a bike.
Yes, exactly like that. At first, it is difficult. You might fall, but you practice. And then it becomes easier.
I like that idea. Small talk is a skill. And we can practice it.
Yes. And it is okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. The other person will understand.
People are usually very friendly and patient. They are happy you are speaking English with them.
That is so true. Most people are kind. They will not focus on your mistakes. They will be happy you are talking to them.
So the first step is to be brave and try.
Yes. Be brave. Start with something very simple. Even just hello is a start.
That is great advice. We will talk more about how to start in the next part of our podcast.
But for now, it is important to understand what small talk is and why it helps us.
It is a short, friendly chat, and it helps us be polite and connect with others.
Perfect, and it's a skill we can all learn. No one is perfect at the beginning.
That's very encouraging, Emma. So we should not be afraid of small talk.
Not at all. We should see it as a chance to practice English, a chance to be friendly, a chance to connect.
I feel more confident already. Understanding what it is makes it feel less scary.
I am so glad to hear that. That is our goal. We want you to feel confident.
So Emma, let's review what we learned in this first part.
Good idea, John. A recap is always helpful.
Okay, so what are the most important points to remember?
I think there are two main points. First, what small talk is.
And what is it? Let's say it again for our listeners.
Small talk is a short, friendly conversation about simple topics.
Great. Short, friendly, and simple. And what is the second main point?
The second point is why small talk is important.
And why is it important?
It is important because it helps us to be polite. And it helps us to connect with people in a friendly way.
Excellent. So it is about being polite and connecting with people.
Yes. And remember, it is a skill you can practice and get better.
That is a wonderful summary, Emma. Understanding these ideas is the first step to feeling confident.
Yes, it is. And now that we understand what small talk is, let's learn how to start. This is the part many people worry about.
The beginning. Yes, the first words can be the hardest.
They can be. But we will make it easy for you. So let's talk about easy ways to say hello and start talking.
I am ready. Where do we begin?
We begin with the first word, a greeting. This is the key to open the door to a conversation.
A greeting. You mean like hello?
Exactly. Hello is a perfect word. It is friendly and polite. You can use hello with anyone.
So hello is always a safe choice.
Yes, always. Another good word is hi. Hi is a little more informal, a little more relaxed.
Hi. I like that one. It sounds very friendly.
It is. So you have hello for a more formal feeling and hi for a more casual, relaxed feeling. Both are great.
What about hey? I hear that a lot.
That's a good question. Hey is very informal. It is usually for friends or people you know well.
So for a new person, maybe at a shop or a doctor's office, hello or hi is better.
Exactly right. It is better to be a little more polite when you don't know the person.
That makes sense. Are there other greetings we can use?
Yes. We can use greetings for the time of day. These are very polite and very common.
Oh, you mean like good morning?
Yes, good morning is perfect for the morning. In the afternoon, you can say good afternoon.
And in the evening?
You say good evening. These are wonderful greetings. They are friendly and show respect.
What about good night? Can I use that to start a conversation?
That is a very important point, John. Good night is different. We only use good night to say goodbye.
Ah, so it is for ending the day, not for starting a talk.
Correct. You say it when you are leaving a place at night or when you are going to bed. So do not start a conversation with good night.
That is a great tip. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening are for saying hello.
Yes, you have it. So you have chosen your greeting. You say hello. What is the next step?
This is where I sometimes feel nervous. What do I say after hello?
A very common next step is to ask, how are you?
How are you? It is simple, and everyone knows it.
Yes, it is a very friendly question. It shows you care a little about the other person.
And what is a good answer to, how are you?
A simple and positive answer is best for small talk. You can say, I'm good, thank you. Or, I'm doing well, thanks.
Not bad is another one I hear.
Yes, not bad is very common and friendly. The important thing is to be positive or neutral.
Okay, so I answer the question, is that all?
No, this is a very important moment. After you answer, you should ask the question back.
Ask back? You mean I should ask them how they are?
Yes, this is so important. It shows that you are interested in them too. A conversation needs two people.
So I can say, I'm good, thank you, and you?
Perfect. And you is a great simple way to ask back. You can also say, how about you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
That is excellent. It keeps the conversation moving. It makes it a real conversation, not an interview.
So we have a greeting, and we have, how are you? Now we are talking.
Yes, we are. Now for the next step, this is how you move into the real small talk.
I'm listening carefully. This is the part one need help with.
The secret is to look around you. Use the situation. Talk about where you are.
Use the situation? Can you give me an example?
Of course. Let's imagine we are in a coffee shop. It is a little busy. You started with, hello. What can you say next?
I can talk about the coffee shop. Maybe I can say, this place is popular today.
That is a fantastic example. It is simple, it is about the situation, and it is easy for the other person to answer.
They could say, yes, it is very busy.
Exactly. And now you are having a small conversation. Let's try another situation. We are waiting for the train. It is a very sunny day.
I can say, good morning. It's a beautiful day today, isn't it?
Perfect. Talking about the weather is always a safe and easy way to start small talk. Everyone has something to say about the weather.
It's a topic we all share.
Yes. So you can make a comment about the situation. Or you can ask a simple question about the situation.
A question? What kind of question?
Let's go back to the coffee shop. You could ask, is the coffee good here?
Oh, I see. It's a simple question related to the place we are in.
Exactly. Or at the train station, you could ask, does this train go to the city center?
So you make a comment or ask a question about what is happening right now.
Yes. This is the best way. You do not need to think of a big, amazing topic. The topic is right in front of you.
That makes it feel so much easier. I don't have to prepare something to say. I just need to open my eyes and look around.
You said it perfectly, John. Just open your eyes and your ears. What do you see? What do you hear? Talk about that.
Let's try one more situation. We are at a community event, maybe a local market.
Great idea. What could you say to someone there?
I could say, hi. There are so many interesting things here.
A wonderful start. That is a comment. What about a question?
I could ask, have you tried the food from that stall? It looks delicious.
That is so good. It is friendly, simple, and it invites the other person to share their experience.
So the secret is really just to use the here and now. The present moment.
Yes. Don't worry about the past or the future. Just talk about what is around you. It is the easiest and most natural way to begin small talk.
This is very, very helpful advice, Emma.
I'm glad. We want you to feel that starting a conversation is not a big, scary thing. It can be small and easy.
It really can be. Okay, let's do a quick recap of this part.
Of course. Let's summarize the main points for starting a conversation.
What is the first important point?
The first point is to begin with a simple, friendly greeting. Use hello, hi, or a greeting for the time of day like good morning.
Okay, a simple greeting. And the second point?
The second point is to use your situation. Make a simple comment or ask a simple question about where you are. Talk about the weather, the place, or what is happening around you.
Use the here and now. That is a great summary. Greeting first, then a comment about the situation.
Yes. If you remember those two steps, you can start a small conversation anywhere with anyone.
That feels much less scary now. I know how to say hello and start the conversation, but Emma, what do we talk about next?
That is a fantastic question. We have started the engine. Now we need to drive the car. So let's talk about good things to talk about. We can call them safe topics.
Safe topics. I like that name. What does safe mean here?
Safe means the topic is good for everyone. It is not personal. It is not controversial. It will not make the other person feel uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable? Like what kind of topic would make someone uncomfortable?
Well, topics like money, for example. Asking someone how much money do you make is not a good question for small talk.
No, that is very personal. I would not want to answer that question from a stranger.
Exactly. Other topics to avoid are politics and religion. People have very strong feelings about these things.
Yes, talking about politics can sometimes lead to arguments, not friendly conversation.
That's right. Small talk is about being friendly and light. So we want topics that are easy for everyone to talk about.
Okay, so no money, no politics, no religion. I understand. So what are the good, safe topics?
We already talked about one of the best ones. The weather.
Ah, the weather. It is the #1 safe topic.
It really is. You can always say something about the weather. It's a bit cold today. Or, I hope the rain stops soon.
And the other person can easily agree, yes, I hope so too.
Precisely. It is easy, it is something you both share in that moment, and it is 100% safe.
So weather is a great topic. What is another one?
Another wonderful topic is the place where you are. We talked about this for starting a conversation, but you can continue talking about it.
So if we are in a nice park, we can talk about the park?
Yes. You could say, "This park is so beautiful. I like the flowers."
And the other person might say, me too, I come here often.
And now you have a new direction for the conversation. You can ask, "Oh, do you live near here?"
I see. So you start with the place, and it can lead to other simple questions.
Exactly. Talking about the place is very useful. It is something you are both experiencing together.
What if we are at a party or an event?
At a party, a great topic is the food and drink. You can say, "This cake is delicious."
Or ask, have you tried the lemonade? It's very refreshing.
Perfect examples. Food is a topic most people enjoy talking about. It is a shared, positive experience.
So weather, the place you are in, and food and drink. These are all very safe.
Yes. Another very good safe topic is hobbies and interests.
Hobbies? Like what you do for fun.
Exactly. Things like sports, music, movies, or books.
How do I start talking about hobbies? Do I just ask, what are your hobbies?
That question is a little direct. It can feel a bit like an interview. There are softer, more natural ways.
Okay, I want to learn the natural way.
For example, you can talk about a recent event. You could say, "Did you watch the big football game last night?"
And if they say yes, we can talk about the game.
Yes. And if they say no, you can just say, "Oh, it was a very exciting game," and then move to another topic. It's no problem.
That's a good way. What about movies?
You could ask, "Have you seen any good movies recently?"
I like that question. It is open. It lets the other person choose what to talk about.
Yes, any good movies or any good books. It is a gentle invitation to share something.
What if I don't know anything about football or the movie they talk about?
That's okay. This is a great opportunity to listen and ask questions. You can say, "Oh, I haven't seen it. What is it about?"
So I don't have to be an expert, I can just be curious.
Exactly. Being curious is more important than being an expert. It shows you are interested in the other person.
That is very helpful. So hobbies are a good topic, but it's good to ask in a gentle way.
Yes. One more great safe topic is weekend plans or holiday plans.
Oh, that's a nice one. It's usually a happy topic.
It is. You can ask, "Do you have any plans for the weekend?"
And what if it's Monday? Can I ask about the weekend then?
Of course. On a Monday, you can ask, "Did you have a good weekend?" or "Did you do anything nice on the weekend?"
And then I can share something small about my weekend too.
Yes, it's a great way to share a little bit about yourself in a safe way. You could say, "I went for a walk in the park."
Not, I argued with my family about money.
Exactly, not that. Keep it light and positive. Small talk is happy talk.
Happy talk. I will remember that. So we have a good list of safe topics: weather, the place, food and drink, hobbies, and weekend or holiday plans.
That's a great list. If our listeners can remember just 2 or 3 of those, they will always have something to talk about.
It is like having tools in a toolbox. You can choose the right tool for the situation.
What a great way to think about it, John. These are your small talk tools.
And these topics are safe because they are not too personal.
That is the key. You are talking with someone you don't know well, so you want to stay in a comfortable, shared space.
What about work? Is it a safe topic to ask, what do you do?
That is a very common question in many cultures, like in the United States or the UK. It is usually okay.
Usually? So sometimes it is not okay?
Well, it can feel a little bit like the conversation is only about status or jobs. A better question might be, "How do you spend your days?" or "Do you work or study?"
How do you spend your days is a nice question. It is more open.
Yes, it lets the person decide if they want to talk about their job, their family, their studies, or their hobbies.
So asking about work is okay, but there are sometimes better, more open questions.
I think so. The goal is to make the other person feel comfortable and not like they are in a job interview.
That is a very good point. We want to connect as people, not just as jobs.
Exactly. Okay, I think we have a good collection of safe topics now. Shall we do a quick summary?
Yes. Let's recap the main ideas about safe topics.
All right. What is the most important idea to remember?
The most important idea is to choose topics that are not personal or controversial. Keep the conversation light and friendly.
Perfect. And what are some examples of these safe topics?
We talked about 5 great ones. First, the weather. Second, the place you are in. Third, food and drink.
Excellent. And the last 2?
The last 2 are hobbies and interests, and plans for the weekend or holidays.
Fantastic summary, John. If our listeners use these topics, they can have a friendly, comfortable conversation with anyone.
Yes, having those safe topics is like having a map for the conversation. But what about the sentences we use? How do we ask the questions?
That is the perfect next step. Knowing what to talk about is important. Knowing how to ask the questions is also very important. So let's talk about how to ask easy questions and keep the talk going.
This is great. I think many learners worry about grammar when they ask questions.
Yes, they do. But for small talk, the questions can be very simple. You don't need complex grammar.
That is good news for everyone listening.
It is. Let's start with the easiest type of question. These are questions you can answer with yes or no. We call them yes-no questions.
Okay, yes, no questions. How do we make them?
The easiest way is to start with verbs like do, are, or is.
Do, are, is. Let's look at some examples. How can we use do?
You can ask about likes or habits. For example, do you like this music?
Do you like this music? That's a great simple question for a cafe or a party. The answer is yes, I do, or no, I don't.
Exactly. Or you could ask, do you come here often?
Do you come here often? Another simple question about a habit.
Yes. Using do you is a very friendly and common way to ask a question.
Okay, I understand do. What about are?
We use are to ask about feelings or current situations. For example, are you having a good time?
Are you having a good time? That's a nice question for a party.
It is. Or if you see someone with a big coat on a cold day, you could ask, are you feeling cold?
That shows you are paying attention to the other person. It's a kind question.
Yes. Kindness is a big part of good small talk.
So we have do and are. What about is?
We use is to ask about a single thing. We often use it when we talk about the situation around us.
Can you give an example?
At a food market, you could point to something and ask, is this spicy?
Ah, is this spicy? A very useful question.
Or, talking about the weather, you could ask, is it going to rain later?
These are all so simple. Do you? Are you? Is it? Anyone can learn to make these questions.
That's the goal. Small talk should be easy, not a grammar test. These simple questions are perfect for keeping the conversation going.
But Emma, if the person only says yes or no, the conversation might stop.
That is a very, very good point, John. Yes/no questions are a good start, but we also need another type of question.
What is the other type?
We call them WH questions. They are questions that start with words like what, where, when, why, and how.
The WH words. These questions need more than a yes or no answer.
Exactly. They invite the other person to say more. They open up the conversation.
Let's look at some simple WH questions for small talk. What about what?
What is very useful. If someone says they saw a good movie, you can ask, what movie did you see?
What movie did you see? They can't answer yes to that. They have to tell you the name of the movie.
Yes. Or if you are talking about the weekend, you can ask, what did you do on the weekend?
That's a lovely open question. It invites them to share a story.
It does. Now let's think about how. How is also very friendly.
How can we use how?
You can ask, how was your weekend? It's a little different from what did you do? It asks about the feeling of the weekend.
How was your weekend? The person might answer, it was very relaxing, or it was busy.
Exactly. And then you can ask another question based on their answer. If they say it was relaxing, you could ask, oh, that's nice. What did you do to relax?
I see. So one question leads to another. It's like building with blocks.
That's a perfect image. Each question and answer is a block. You are building a small conversation together.
What about where? That seems like a useful question word.
Very useful. If someone says they went to a nice restaurant, you can ask, where is the restaurant?
Or if they say they are from another city, where are you from?
Yes. Where are you from? Is a very common question in small talk. It helps you learn a little about the other person.
So we have what, how, and where. These are great for getting more information.
Yes. The key is to mix the two types of questions.
Mix them? What do you mean?
You can start with a simple yes/no question. For example, do you like to read?
And if the person says yes, I do,
Then you can follow with a WH question. You can ask, what kind of books do you like?
I understand. The yes/no question is the door. The WH question is walking into the room.
I love that, John. That is exactly right. The first question checks if they are interested in the topic. The second question asks for more detail.
Let's try another example. I ask someone, are you enjoying the party? They say, yes, it's great.
Now, what WH question could you ask?
I could ask, what do you like most about it?
Perfect. You are keeping the conversation moving forward. You are showing you are interested.
This is a really clear and simple strategy. Start with do/are, then follow with what/where/how.
Yes. It works so well. And it takes the pressure off. You don't have to think of a brilliant, complicated question. Just a simple, logical next step.
And when they answer my WH question, I should listen carefully.
Listening is the secret ingredient. We will talk more about that later. But yes, you listen. Their answer will give you the idea for your next question.
So if they say, I like reading history books, I can ask, oh, that's interesting. Are you reading one now?
See, you are doing it perfectly. You used a yes/no question based on their answer. It's a natural flow.
This makes me feel so much more confident. It is not about magic. It is a simple pattern.
It is a simple pattern. And like any pattern, you can practice it.
Practice makes perfect. Or at least practice makes it easier.
That's the truth. Okay, John, I think it is time for a recap of this part.
Good idea. Let's summarize how to ask easy questions.
What are the two main types of questions we talked about?
We talked about two types. First, yes/no questions that start with words like do, is, or are.
And why are they useful?
They are good for starting on a topic and checking if the other person is interested.
Excellent. And what was the second type of question?
The second type was WH questions. They start with words like what, where, or how.
And why are they important?
They are important because they ask for more information. They keep the conversation going and invite the other person to say more than just yes or no.
That's a perfect summary. And what is the strategy for using them together?
The strategy is to mix them. Start with a yes-no question and then follow up with a WH question to learn more.
Brilliant. If our listeners can remember this simple pattern, their small talk will become much smoother and more enjoyable.
I agree. Knowing how to ask questions is a superpower in conversation, but Emma, a conversation is not just asking questions, right?
That is a very wise thing to say, John. A conversation is a two-way street. It is not an interview. So asking questions is only half of the skill.
What is the other half?
The other half is listening. Being a good listener is maybe the most important part of small talk.
Being a good listener. Let's talk about that. Why is listening so important?
When you listen well, you show the other person that you are interested in them. You show that you respect what they are saying.
And that makes the other person feel good.
Exactly. It makes them feel comfortable and happy to talk to you. People love to talk to good listeners.
So being a good listener can make you more popular in conversations.
It really can. A good listener is a wonderful person to talk to. But how do we show that we are listening?
Do you mean I have to do something, not just be quiet?
Yes. Being quiet is part of listening, but it is not everything. We need to show we are listening. We call this active listening.
Active listening. Okay, how do I do that?
One very easy way is to use small words or sounds. These sounds show that you are paying attention.
Small words or sounds, like what?
Things like or just When the other person is talking, you can make these small sounds.
So if someone is telling me about their weekend, I can say while they are talking?
Yes. It tells them, I am here. I am with you. Please continue. It's like a little green light for the speaker.
I do that in my own language. I didn't think about doing it in English.
It is very common in English too. It makes the conversation feel natural and connected.
Okay, so small sounds like What else can I do?
You can use short, simple phrases to show your reaction. These phrases show you are not just hearing the words, but you are understanding the feeling.
Can you give me some examples of these phrases?
Of course. If someone says something good or happy, you can say, that's nice, or that's great.
So if my colleague says, I finished my big project, I can say, that's great.
Perfect. It shows you share their happy feeling. What if they say something surprising?
Surprising? What would I say?
You could say, oh, really? Or wow.
Oh, really? I like that one. It shows I am interested and want to know more.
Exactly. Or if they say something interesting, you can say, that's interesting.
That's interesting. Simple and effective.
Yes, and if they say something that is a little bit sad or difficult, like, the traffic was terrible this morning,
What could I say then?
you could say something like, oh no, or that's a shame.
Oh no! It shows empathy. It shows you understand their feeling.
You use the perfect word, John, empathy. These small phrases show you are connecting with the emotion of their story.
So we have small sounds like and short phrases like that's great or oh really? This is very practical.
And it is not difficult. You just need to listen to the feeling behind the words and choose a simple phrase.
What is another way to be a good, active listener?
Another powerful way is to repeat a little bit of what the person said.
Repeat what they said? Do you mean I say the exact same sentence?
No, not the whole sentence, just one or two key words. This is a technique called echoing.
Echoing. Can you show me how it works?
Sure, imagine the other person says, I went to a wonderful concert on Saturday.
Okay. I went to a wonderful concert on Saturday.
You can echo a key word by saying it as a small question. For example, a concert?
A concert? And then they will tell me more about it.
Yes, they will probably say, yes, it was a jazz concert in the park. You showed you were listening and you invited them to give more detail.
That is a very clever and simple trick. Let's try another one. The person says, I'm feeling very tired today. I was studying for an exam.
What could you echo there?
I could say, an exam?
Perfect. And they might say, yes, a big English exam. Echoing shows you picked up the important information.
I really like this. It is a way to keep the conversation going without having to think of a completely new question.
That's why it is so useful. You are using their words to build the conversation.
So to be a good listener, I can use small sounds, short reaction phrases, and echoing.
Yes. And there is one more very important thing. Your body language.
My body language? What I do with my body.
Yes. Even if you say all the right things, your body needs to show you are listening too.
What should I do with my body?
The most important thing is to make eye contact. Look at the person when they are speaking.
Not at my phone.
Definitely not at your phone. Looking at your phone says, my phone is more interesting than you.
That is not a friendly message. So make eye contact. What else?
You can nod your head. A small nod shows you agree or you understand.
Ah, yes. Nodding is like saying uh-huh with your head.
Exactly. And try to have a friendly expression on your face. A small smile shows you are happy to be there.
So look at them, nod, and smile. These are simple actions, but they send a powerful message.
A very powerful message. They say, I am here with you. I am interested. I am listening. All of these things together make you an excellent listener.
And being an excellent listener makes you a great person to have small talk with.
It really does. Sometimes the best thing you can do in a conversation is just listen well.
This changes how I think about small talk. I thought it was all about having clever things to say.
That's a common feeling. But really, it is more about being a curious and kind listener.
I feel a lot less pressure now. I don't have to be a great speaker. I can be a great listener.
And that is a wonderful goal. Okay, are you ready to summarize this important part?
I am. Let's recap the main points about being a good listener.
What's the first key idea?
The first idea is that listening is just as important as speaking. It shows you are interested and makes the other person feel good.
Very true. And what are some practical ways to show you are actively listening?
We learned 4 ways. First, use small words and sounds like uh-huh. Second, use short phrases to show your reaction like that's interesting or oh, really?
Great, what were the other 2?
Third, use echoing. Repeat 1 or 2 key words from their sentence as a question to encourage them to say more. And fourth, use positive body language. Make eye contact, nod, and smile.
That is a perfect and complete summary, John. If our listeners practice these active listening skills, they will see a big difference in their conversations.
Yes, being a good listener is so important. But Emma, the other person will ask me questions too. I need to know how to answer them.
You are absolutely right, John. We have talked about starting, asking, and listening. Now we need to talk about answering. It's a very important piece of the puzzle.
I want to give good answers, but sometimes I only say yes or no.
That is a very common challenge for learners. Just saying yes or no can stop a conversation. It's like closing a door.
Exactly. The other person asks a nice question, and I just say yes. And then silence. It feels awkward.
It can feel very awkward. So our goal in this part is to learn how to answer questions and say a little more. We want to keep the door open.
Keep the door open. I like that. So how do we do it?
The rule is simple. Always try to add a little extra information. We can call it the yes and rule.
Yes, and so I say yes. And then I add something?
Exactly. Let's take an example. Someone asks you, do you like this park?
My old answer would be just yes.
Now try the yes and rule. What could you add?
I could say, yes, it's very beautiful. I like the flowers.
See? That is a wonderful answer. It is so much better than just yes. It gives the other person something to respond to.
They could say, oh, me too, the red flowers are my favorite. And the conversation continues.
Exactly. You kept the door open. Let's try another one. Someone asks you, is this your first time at this event?
Instead of just, no, I can say, no, I came last year too. It was a lot of fun.
Perfect. You answered the question and you added a little piece of your experience. You gave the other person a gift.
A gift? What do you mean?
A small piece of information is like a gift in conversation. It gives the other person something to work with. It helps them ask the next question.
I never thought of it that way. My extra information is a gift for my conversation partner.
It is. It shows you want to participate in the conversation. You are not just a passive answerer.
What if the question is a WH question? For example, what did you do on the weekend?
This is a great question. Here, the answer is already more than yes or no, but we can still add more.
How?
Don't just give a one-word answer. For example, don't just say shopping.
That is a very short answer. It doesn't help much.
Right. Try to give a full sentence and maybe add a feeling or an opinion.
So instead of shopping, I could say, I went shopping with my sister. We had a great time.
That is a fantastic answer. It gives so much more information. Now the other person can ask about your sister, or where you went shopping, or why you had a great time.
You gave them many doors to open.
Yes. Let's look at another example. Someone asks, how was your day?
A very common small talk question. A bad answer would be just, good.
Good is okay, but it's a closed door. How can we open it?
I could say, it was good, thank you. A little busy this morning, but the afternoon was more relaxed.
Beautiful. That is an answer that helps the conversation grow. It feels friendly and open.
The secret seems to be, always say a little bit more than the minimum.
That is the secret. One sentence is good. 2 sentences is often even better.
What if I am nervous and I can't think of anything to add?
That is a very real situation. Don't worry. the extra information does not need to be amazing or clever. It can be very simple.
Simple is good.
Let's practice. Someone asks you, "Do you have any pets?" You want to say yes, but you are nervous. What is a simple thing you can add?
I can just say what pet I have. Yes, I have a cat.
Perfect. Yes, I have a cat is so much better than just yes. It is simple, easy, and it keeps the conversation going.
The other person can then ask, "Oh, what is your cat's name?"
Exactly. What if the answer is no? Someone asks, "Do you play football?" and you don't.
I could just say no. That closes the door.
How can we open it a little?
I could say, "No, I'm not very good at football, but I like watching it on TV."
That is a brilliant answer. You said no, but you also shared something positive and related to the topic. You turned a closed door into an open window.
I like that. No, but that is a good pattern.
Yes and no, but are two very powerful patterns for answering questions in small talk.
This is so helpful, Emma. It gives me a clear plan for what to do when someone asks me a question.
I am so glad. It's about being an active participant. Small talk is like a game of catch. The other person throws you the ball. You don't just hold it, you throw it back.
And adding extra information is how you throw the ball back.
Exactly. You are helping to keep the game going.
Sometimes, I worry that the other person is not interested in my extra information.
That's a normal fear. But in small talk, people are generally happy to learn a little about you. Remember, they asked the question because they want to connect.
That's true, they started the conversation.
Yes. So it is polite and friendly to share a little. Just keep it simple and positive. You don't need to tell them your whole life story.
No, not my whole life story, just one or two extra sentences.
Precisely. It is about balance.
This makes me feel much more prepared. I have a strategy for answering now.
And when you give a good answer, it makes it easier for the other person. You are helping them have a good conversation too.
So by being a good answerer, I am also being a good conversation partner.
You are. It is a team effort. Okay, John, this feels like a good moment for a recap.
I agree. Let's summarize the key points on how to answer questions.
What is the main problem we want to avoid when answering?
We want to avoid giving very short answers, like just yes, no, or one-word answers. These answers can stop the conversation.
Exactly. They close the door. So what is the main strategy to solve this problem?
The main strategy is to always add a little extra information. We can use the patterns yes and or no but.
Perfect. And what does this extra information do?
The extra information gives the other person a gift. It gives them something to respond to and helps keep the conversation moving. It shows that you are an active and friendly participant in the conversation.
A wonderful summary. Giving a good answer is not about being clever. It is about being generous in the conversation.
I feel so much more confident now. I know how to start, what to talk about, how to ask questions, how to listen, and how to answer. It feels like I have a complete guide.
That's wonderful to hear. But there is one more important skill we need to talk about.
Oh, what is that?
We need to know how to end the conversation.
Saying goodbye. Yes, this can be a little awkward sometimes. I don't want to be rude.
Exactly. Knowing how to end the small talk politely is just as important as knowing how to start it. A good ending leaves both people feeling positive.
So how do we do it? How do we stop talking without seeming unfriendly?
There are a few simple strategies. The first one is to use a positive phrase about the conversation.
A positive phrase? What do you mean?
You can say something nice about talking to the person. For example, "Well, it was nice talking to you."
It was nice talking to you. That sounds very polite and friendly.
It is. Another great one is, "It was a pleasure to meet you." You use this one if you met the person for the first time.
It was a pleasure to meet you. I like that. It is a little more formal and very respectful.
Yes. These phrases are signals. They signal that the conversation is coming to a close.
So I say a nice phrase first. What is the next step?
The next step is to give a reason for leaving. The reason doesn't need to be very detailed. A simple, general reason is perfect.
A reason? Like I have to go now?
"I have to go now" is good and simple. You can also make it a little softer. For example, "Anyway, I should get going."
I should get going. That sounds very natural.
It is. Another common one is, "Well, I need to go and find my friend." If you are at a party.
Or if I am at a shop, I have to finish my shopping.
Perfect. The reason explains why you are ending the conversation. It shows that you are not leaving because you are bored. You are leaving because you have something else to do.
That is a very important point. The reason makes it polite.
It does. So, first, a positive phrase. Second, a simple reason. What is the final step?
The final step. Is it saying goodbye?
Almost. The final step is to wish them well. Say something nice for their future.
Wish them well. Like what?
A very common and friendly thing to say is, "Have a nice day."
Have a nice day. Yes, I hear that all the time. It is a lovely way to end a chat.
It is. Or if it is the evening, you can say, "Have a good evening."
And on a Friday?
On a Friday, you can say, "Have a great weekend." People love to hear that.
So you say something nice about their day or their weekend.
Yes. It leaves the conversation on a warm, positive note. After you wish them well, then you can say your final goodbye or bye.
This is a great 3-step plan. Let's practice putting it all together.
Great idea. Let's imagine we are colleagues at work and we had a short chat in the kitchen. Now I need to go back to my desk.
Okay, so how would you end the conversation?
I would say, well, it was nice to catch up. Anyway, I should get back to work. Have a good afternoon.
That was so smooth and so polite. It felt very natural.
Thank you. You see how the 3 steps work together? Let's try another situation. We met for the first time at a community event.
Okay, it's my turn to end the conversation. I'll try the 3 steps.
Go for it.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Emma. I'm going to get a drink now. I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
That was perfect, John. Absolutely perfect. It was friendly, clear, and very polite. I would feel very happy after that ending.
It feels good to have a clear structure. It takes the awkwardness away.
It does. The structure helps you feel in control and confident. You know what you are doing.
What if the other person needs to leave? How should I respond?
That's a great question. If the other person starts to end the conversation, your job is to be a good receiver.
A good receiver?
Yes. You agree with them and respond positively. For example, if they say, it was nice talking to you.
I should say something like, you too, or yes, it was nice talking to you too.
Exactly. You return the positive feeling. If they say, have a great day.
I say thanks, you too.
Perfect. You just mirror their politeness. It shows that you both agree the conversation is over, and you are ending on a friendly note.
That's simple enough. Just be positive and polite back.
Yes. Don't try to keep the conversation going if they are trying to end it. Just let it end gracefully.
That's a good tip. Don't hold on too tight. Let it go.
That's a beautiful way to say it. A good small talk conversation has a beginning, a middle, and an end. All 3 parts are important.
I never really thought about the ending so much, but it really makes a difference. The final impression is very important.
It is. A good ending makes the person remember the conversation in a positive way, and they will be happy to talk to you again in the future.
This is all so useful. I feel ready to handle a whole conversation now, from hello to goodbye.
I'm so happy to hear that. That has been our goal for this whole episode.
So, Emma, I think it's time. Let's say we are ending this part of our podcast. How would we do it?
An excellent idea. Let's do a recap of our 3 steps for ending a conversation.
Okay. What is the first step for a polite ending?
Step 1 is to say a positive phrase about the conversation. Something like, it was nice talking to you.
Great. And what is step 2?
Step 2 is to give a simple, polite reason for leaving. For example, I should get going now.
That makes sense. And what is the third and final step?
The final step is to wish the other person well. Say something like, have a good day, or enjoy the rest of your evening. This leaves a warm, positive feeling.
A perfect 3-step plan. A positive phrase, a reason to leave, and a nice wish for the future. With this plan, our listeners can end any small talk conversation with confidence and kindness.
Exactly. And now, we have reached the final part of our episode. We have learned so many useful things today. Let's bring all the steps together and talk about how to practice.
This is a great way to finish. We have all the information, and now we need a plan to use it.
Yes, because learning is good, but doing is better. The final step is to practice your small talk every day.
Every day? That sounds like a lot.
It doesn't have to be a big conversation. It can be very, very small. The important thing is to make it a habit.
A habit? Like brushing your teeth?
Yes, just like that. A small, regular action. Let's quickly review the whole process of small talk. It's like a journey with a few simple steps.
Okay, let's go through the journey. What is step 1?
Step 1 is to start. Say a friendly greeting like hello or good morning. Then, make a comment or ask a question about the situation you are in.
Like it's a beautiful day today.
Perfect. That is the start of your journey. What is the next step in the conversation?
The next step is to use safe topics. Talk about things like the weather, hobbies, food, or weekend plans. Keep it light and positive.
Excellent. And while you are talking about these topics, what kind of questions should you ask?
We learn to use a mix of questions. Simple yes/no questions to start, like, do you like coffee? And then WH questions to learn more, like, what kind of coffee do you like?
Fantastic. You are asking good questions. But what is the other half of the conversation?
The other half is being a great listener. Use active listening. Make small sounds like, Use short phrases like, that's interesting. And use positive body language.
Wonderful. And when it is your turn to speak, how do you answer questions?
I remember the yes and rule. I should always try to add a little extra information to my answers to keep the conversation going.
Yes, be a generous speaker. And finally, what is the last step of the journey?
The last step is to end the conversation politely. Use the 3-step method. A positive phrase, a reason for leaving, and a nice wish for their day.
That is the whole journey of a small talk conversation, from start to finish. And it is not so scary when we break it down into these small steps.
No, it's not. Each step is small and easy to do.
So now, let's talk about practice. How can our listeners practice these skills in their real, everyday lives?
Do you have some tips for them, Emma?
I do. My first tip is start small. Very small.
What do you mean by very small?
Your goal for the first week could be just to say hello to one new person each day. That's it.
Just hello? Not a full conversation?
Just hello. The person at the supermarket checkout, the bus driver, the person in the elevator. Just a friendly hello and a smile.
That sounds possible. It is not a big pressure.
Exactly. The goal is to build your confidence muscle. Just opening your mouth and being friendly is the first step.
Okay, so after a week of saying hello, what is the next step?
The next week, you can add a simple comment. Hello, it's very busy today. Or hello, I like your dog.
So we are building it up, step by step, a little bit more each week.
Yes. Maybe the week after that, you can try to have a 2-line conversation with someone. You say something and they answer. That's a success.
This is a great, gentle way to practice. It is not about having a 10-minute conversation on day one.
Not at all. Small steps lead to big progress. My second tip is be a detective.
A detective? What do I need to investigate?
Be an observer of small talk. When you are in a cafe or on a bus, listen to how native English speakers talk to each other.
Ah, so I should listen to their conversations?
Just for a moment, notice what they talk about. Notice the simple words they use. You will hear them using all the skills we talked about today.
That is a great idea. It is like getting free lessons from the world around me.
Exactly. You will see that real small talk is often very simple and a little messy. It's not perfect.
That will make me feel better about my own mistakes.
Which brings me to my final and most important tip. Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to yourself. That is a lovely piece of advice.
Learning a language is hard. You will make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers.
It's true. Sometimes I can't find the right word in my own language.
So please, do not worry about being perfect. Perfection is not the goal.
Perfection, I will write that down.
If you try to say something and it comes out wrong, it is okay. You can laugh. You can say, sorry. English is new for me. People will understand. They will be kind.
I think we are often more critical of ourselves than other people are.
So true. So celebrate your small successes. You had a 1-minute conversation in English? That is amazing. Be proud of yourself.
That is very encouraging, Emma. Practice small, observe others, and be kind to yourself. These are wonderful tips.
Small talk is a skill. And like any skill, it gets better with practice. The more you do it, the easier it will become.
And the more confident you will feel.
Absolutely. And that confidence will help you in all areas of your English learning. So that brings us to the end of our very long episode on small talk. Let's do a final, super quick summary of the most important ideas.
Let's do it. First, small talk is a short, friendly conversation about simple, safe topics. It is important for being polite and connecting with people.
Great. What is the key to starting a conversation?
Start with a simple greeting, and then make a comment or ask a question about the situation you are in.
And how do you keep it going?
Ask a mix of yes/no questions and WH questions. Be an active listener. And when you answer, always add a little extra information.
Perfect. And how do you end it?
End it politely with the 3-step method. A positive phrase, a reason to leave, and a nice wish for their day.
And what is the best way to learn?
Practice. Start small, observe others, and always be kind to yourself. Connection is the goal, not perfection.
That is everything you need to know to feel confident in small talk. We hope this episode has helped you feel more prepared and less nervous.
We know you can do it. Just take that first small step.
Thank you so much for listening to the Clear English podcast today. We love having you here with us.
We do. If you enjoyed this episode, please tell us in the comments. What is your biggest challenge with small talk? We would love to hear from you.
And if you found this episode helpful, please give it a like. It helps other English learners find our podcast.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our next episode. And click the notification bell to know when we post new content.
Your support means the world to us. Keep practicing your English. You are doing a great job.
You really are.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the English Pod community. I'm so excited you're here. Now, let me ask you a few questions before we dive in. Have you ever found it hard to understand English in real-life conversations? Maybe you struggle with complex sentences or different accents. Or have you ever wanted to write more naturally, as if you were speaking with a friend? Well, today's episode is perfect for you. We're going to talk about how listening to real-life stories can boost both your listening and writing skills. Stories are a fantastic way to practice because they help you hear natural expressions, vocabulary, and sentence structures that you won't always find in textbooks. By listening carefully to real-life situations, you'll learn how to communicate more effectively, improve your comprehension, and even sound more like a native speaker when you write. In this episode, I'll be sharing personal stories from my own life. These stories are full of practical language you can use in everyday conversations. You'll hear me describe moments of joy, challenges, and even unexpected lessons I've learned along the way. By focusing on these real-life examples, you'll understand how English is used in day-to-day situations and how you can apply this to both your listening and writing. Let's jump in and start learning. Let's begin with one of the most common situations that many of us experience. A moment when something unexpected happens, and you have to think quickly. It could be a surprise call from a friend, an urgent work request, or even something as simple as realizing you've forgotten something important. Have you ever found yourself in one of those situations where you had to respond quickly, and in English, you had to use phrases or vocabulary you weren't quite sure about? Well, let me tell you about one such moment from my own life. I remember one morning, I was running late for a meeting, and my phone buzzed with an unexpected message from a colleague. She was asking for my input on a project, and I had only about 5 minutes to reply. In that moment, I had to figure out how to reply quickly, but still sound professional. I wasn't sure what vocabulary would fit, but I ended up using some expressions, like, "I'll get back to you on that," and "let me quickly check and get back to you." This situation showed me how much language changes depending on context. In moments like this, you can't rely on formal or textbook English. You need the kind of English you hear in real life. It's the kind of language that flows naturally and makes your communication sound smooth and fluent. Now, let's break down some of the phrases I used because they're great examples of what you can use in these situations. "I'll get back to you on that" is something you might say when you're asked something urgent, but you don't have all the details yet. It shows that you'll respond later, but it sounds confident and professional. "Let me quickly check and get back to you" is a more casual way of saying you're going to check for the information and respond soon. These phrases are common in both work environments and personal situations, making them essential for both listening and writing. Think about how you could use these phrases in your own life. Maybe you've been in a situation where you had to send a quick email or respond to a colleague during a busy moment. How did you phrase your thoughts? Could you have used more natural-sounding language, like the expressions I just mentioned? Listening to these kinds of real-life moments helps you prepare for when you find yourself in similar situations. Over time, as you hear more and more examples of this kind of communication, it becomes easier for you to incorporate it into your own conversations and writing. Let's take another example from my life. This time about handling a small problem. A few months ago, I was at the grocery store, and I noticed a mistake on my receipt. The price for a product was higher than I expected. I approached the cashier and said, "Excuse me, I think there's been a mistake with this item. Can you double-check the price for me?" This simple interaction used language that was polite, yet clear and direct. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about that. If you listen closely to the way I phrased my question, you'll notice that it's not just about using the correct words. It's about how those words fit into the conversation, how they sound natural, and how they make the situation less stressful. In a stressful situation, like questioning a price, it's easy to feel nervous. But when you use language you've heard and practiced before, it comes out smoothly and confidently. In this case, I also used a helpful phrase. "Can you double-check the price for me?" This is a polite way to ask someone to verify something without being demanding. It's one of those phrases you'll hear often in customer service, or while talking to people in stores, cafes, or even over the phone when you're making inquiries. It's a great example of functional English, the kind of language that's useful in everyday conversations, but isn't always found in textbooks. If you pay close attention to these types of exchanges, you'll notice that the language used in them is very different from formal English you might learn in class. It's often more relaxed, more conversational, and it reflects how people naturally communicate in real life. This is exactly the kind of English you'll be listening to in this episode, and it's the kind of language that can transform your writing as well. Let's focus on the next part, writing. Many learners struggle with writing naturally, especially when it comes to writing emails, making requests, or explaining things clearly. After listening to real-life conversations and stories, you'll notice a shift in how you approach writing. Take the example of the grocery store situation. If I were to write an email about the receipt issue, I might say, "Dear store name, I recently made a purchase at your store, and I noticed that the price of one of the items I bought was higher than expected. Could you kindly verify the price for me?" Notice how this email follows the same structure as the conversation I had in person, but it's now in written form. I'm still using the same language, polite, clear, and direct. But this time it's in a written context. By practicing real-life conversations, you'll start to see how the language flows from speech to writing, making both easier to manage. And this is the power of listening to real-life stories. They give you the tools to not only understand everyday English better, but also to use that understanding to improve how you write. If you're able to listen to someone speak naturally and then replicate that style in your writing, you'll find that your writing sounds more authentic and less stiff or formal. Have you noticed how the way I speak and write changes based on the context? It's the same with the way native speakers communicate. When you listen to them talk, you're absorbing these subtle changes in language use. It's the little things, like when to use could you please versus can you, or how to phrase a request politely, that make your English sound more like a native speaker's. These are exactly the types of skills that come with listening to real-life stories. Let me give you one more example. Last week, I was talking to a friend who was telling me about an unexpected experience during a trip. She got lost in a city and had to ask for directions. She said, "I was completely lost, so I walked up to a stranger and asked, 'Excuse me, could you help me find my way to the station?'" This simple sentence is something you might use in a similar situation. You'll notice that it's polite and uses clear, understandable language. It's not about using fancy vocabulary. It's about getting your message across in a way that sounds natural. The beauty of real-life stories is that they help you practice this kind of everyday language. When you hear a phrase like, "Could you help me find my way?" in a story, you start recognizing it, and then it becomes part of your vocabulary. Over time, you start to speak and write with more ease, knowing that you have a bank of natural-sounding phrases to draw from. And that's the goal of today's episode, to get you comfortable with the kind of English you'll use in real-life situations. When you start thinking in these terms, both your listening and writing skills will improve dramatically. Let's explore another area where real-life stories can really help you understand how English works in natural conversations. Handling unexpected emotions. We've all been in situations where we feel nervous, happy, or even frustrated, and how we express these emotions can change the language we use. Have you ever noticed how people adjust their language when they're feeling stressed, excited, or confused? It's not just about using the right words, but also about the tone, the pacing, and the expressions that go with it. These are all things you'll pick up by listening to real-life stories, and they're exactly what you need to sound more fluent and natural in English. Let me share an experience with you. A few months ago, I had an unexpected situation at work. It was the end of the day, and I was heading out for an important meeting when I found out that the presentation I had spent hours preparing was missing from